Well, you're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Right now at 7, local teachers turn classrooms into businesses for a day. The Rock Your School program building stronger connections between students and their community. Also, WIC funding faces a crisis as the government shutdown continues. What parents need to know about potential cuts to food assistance programs. And take a look at that sunrise. It looks absolutely beautiful on another warm day, but a cold front on the way, bringing some changes with it. Details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning. Welcome to the KOAM Morning News right here on Fox 14. I'm Chris Warner. It's just after 7 a.m. coming up on 7:01 on this Monday, October the 6th. Hopefully everybody had a fantastic weekend. I know it was very warm this weekend, but fall festivals are typically tied with cool weather, but if you don't like the cold weather, I personally am not a fan of like very cold weather, and it's usually pretty chilly going to fall festivals and things. Warm weather may allow some of you to get out and enjoy a few more of these, or maybe enjoy them a little bit longer so you don't have to worry about getting so darn cold. But we do have that cold front on the way. It's going to make some changes for us. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first this morning, White Rock Elementary teachers transformed their classrooms into real-world environments on Friday with the idea to make learning engaging and practical. KOAM's Kenny Foreman has the latest from McDonald County.
Because we're going to have coffee beans out, we're going to have dice out. Okay?
On the agenda for Caitlin Smith's third grade class today, Starbucks.
I felt like it was something that's really relatable nowadays. It seems to be something that the kids think is trendy and fun. And I felt like there were a lot of ways that we could incorporate it, like measuring and using coffee beans for different things as manipulatives for math.
As part of Rock Your School Day, Smith and her colleagues transformed each classroom into its unique environment. The idea is to allow students to have more fun with their curriculum and learn real-life skills. Many teachers like Smith chose to introduce the concept of local business.
My hope for today is that the kids walk away feeling inspired, maybe for the future, thinking about things that they want to do, but also understanding like a sense of community. Because I feel like sometimes that's something that we forget about.
The concept for Rock Your School was first introduced to the nation by the organization Get Your Teach On. Feeling inspired after attending a conference, the staff here at White Rock Elementary wanted to make it a reality in McDonald County.
I think whenever a kid sees an adult excited about something, they naturally feel excited too. Yesterday, whenever I was even telling them about some of the things, they mentioned they love seeing me as an adult excited. It gets them excited.
The hope is that strategies like these will create a stronger desire for students to want to be in class every day.
I think it's easier for kids to dive into technology and not be present in their real life always. And so I think this kind of gets them excited to want to come whenever the world seems so heavy and broken.
In McDonald County, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
Certainly a unique way to get the students involved. And Beth Holland, the White Rock principal, said students aren't just studying careers, they're actively engaging with professionals to learn. Certainly very cool there. And very cool weather, at least cooler weather, on the horizon for us, just not yet, but it's on the way. Let's start with that live look from downtown Pittsburgh, where things do look pretty good. Got that sunrise this morning, got some partly cloudy skies out there. Otherwise, we are dry. Our camera, 7th and Range Line, looks pretty good as well there in Joplin. And just to the south from the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line in Joplin, things look pretty good as well. Skywatch Storm Tracker, here's what we've got. Nothing in our immediate area, but I wanted to show you this activity off to our west. This is a cold front. It is eventually going to get here. This is the one that when we saw you on Friday said we were hoping it was going to get here Sunday night. It's about 24 hours late to our area, but better late than never, and it is on its way. Now, these showers and storms that are ahead of this front aren't really moving a lot, and you can see the lightning strike count for the visible area you can see here is 18. Earlier this morning, it was about 113, so these are dying, and that's the expectation, is they'll continue to die out, so we're not really expecting much in our area. An isolated shower might try and clip very far northwestern corners of, say, Greenwood or Coffee County, but I think the majority of us will be dry and partly cloudy as we go through the morning into the early afternoon. Our opportunity for a few isolated showers and storms really comes later this afternoon into the evening. Now, Future Track has some of them maybe as early as 4, but the best window, I think, is going to be from 5 to 10. Now, these will be isolated, as you can see. Not everyone's going to get rain, but at least some of us have that chance, and you can see that wind shift line right there. There's that front. So Yates Center, Eureka, Anderson, Garnett, you might get a little cooler, a little quicker than everyone else, simply because that front's going to push through a little earlier for you. Temperatures this morning, no cold front involved in some of these numbers. We've got low mid 60s for most of us. Neosho is the warm spot right now, sitting at 69. And taking a quick glance here, it looks like Stockton's the cool spot at 60 this morning. So an above average start either way you paint it here. As we go through the day, about 70 by 9, 81 by noon. Low mid 80s for our highs. A southeast breeze 5 to 10. And again, from 5 to 10 this evening, some isolated showers and storms. Could get a couple of additional isolated showers and storms for some of us tomorrow early morning. We'll go over those details with you and talk about what this front does to our temperatures here in just a few more minutes. Switching gears to today's top stories, Missouri Southern State University welcomed more than 200 students to their campus for a STEM Discovery Day. The purpose, to prepare and inform high school students about career fields involving science, tech, engineering, and math. Students participated in different sessions, including a forensics lab, a liquid nitrogen ice cream lab, and a lot more. And a federal judge has temporarily blocked President Donald Trump from deploying National Guard troops to Oregon. U.S. District Judge Karen Immergut approved a temporary restraining order yesterday asked for by California and Oregon. Now, the move comes after the Trump administration sent National Guard troops from California to Portland to protect federal buildings from protests. On Saturday, Judge Immergut also blocked the administration from sending Oregon National Guard troops to Portland. President Trump responded by moving troops from California and Texas. Immergut questioned the Trump administration's response and asked how it didn't violate her previous order. And the partial government shutdown may cause a new hitch in finding out cost of living adjustments for Social Security recipients. A new report says millions of seniors may be on edge for a while to learn how much their Social Security benefits go up next year. An announcement in the cost of living adjustments, called COLA for short, is expected on October 15th. But most Bureau of Labor Statistics employees have been furloughed amid the shutdown. That means inflation updates could be delayed. The Social Security Administration can't calculate the annual COLA data without the inflation report. The good news is that the September data needed for the report has already been collected, and payments will still continue as usual. And millions of people who rely on food stamps and family aid through federal programs could be at risk of losing assistance during the government shutdown. That's because funding was cut off on September 30th. As Jen Sullivan reports, these crucial programs are now relying on reserve funds until the government passes a new spending plan.
This is baby Zave. He's now 1.5 and thriving. But his mom, Ashley Vasquez, says that wasn't always the case.
He just didn't have an appetite and he wasn't putting on weight.
Zave was put on special nutritional drinks that his family received through WIC, federal-funded program for women, infants, and children. It provides aid to more than 6 million low-income families to help cover expenses for food, breastfeeding support, and health education. But that money could soon be at risk if the government shutdown continues.
For really young children whose sole source of nutrition may be infant formula, the loss of WIC would be absolutely devastating because their families don't have other options.
Nell Menifee-Leiby with the National WIC Association says if the government doesn't pass a spending bill within the next 2 weeks, funding will likely run out.
That really puts us in a crisis point very quickly.
Funding for other assistance programs like the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program known as SNAP could also be at risk. Roughly 42 million people depend on SNAP to help cover groceries. October's benefits were already sent out, but come November 1st, it's unclear whether people will receive assistance as politicians continue to debate.
Republicans refuse to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credit.
This is not about health care. This is about Democrats wanting to show their progressive left base that they are fighting against Donald Trump.
Meanwhile, it leaves vulnerable parents like Ashley Vasquez unsure how they're going to pay for their families. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, Becky McDaniel and Jean Pritchett join us to talk about the Columbus Day Festival and hot air balloon regatta. And a little later, lithium-ion batteries cause hundreds of fires each year. Simple safety steps that could save your home and life. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Time now 7:10. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Becky McDaniel, the car show chair, and Jean Pritchett with the Columbus Chamber of Commerce joining us today to talk about the Columbus Day Festival and the balloon regatta. So, ladies, welcome to the show. Pleasure to have you here. So tell us a little bit, first off, about the car show and the community associated with the car show. What all is going into that?
Well, we have a car show on the square in Columbus every year, and we have different categories from vintage all the way to modern. We have a lot of different awards such as Best Exterior, Best Interior, Best Under the Hood, Mayor's Choice, People's Choice, and we've been doing that for many, many years. But that'll be going on Saturday, and it starts at 8:30 is the beginning of the registration for the cars. That's $15 the day of the show.
All right, and I'm sure a lot of really unique cars show up for these events, probably some old and some new that just have a lot of unique features. Now, the car show is not the only thing happening.
Right.
We also have the Balloon Festival, so tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, our Balloon Festival, we're the only one in this area that does hot air balloons. We have on Friday evening a glow, which if you've never seen a glow, it is really, really gorgeous. The balloons are tethered to the ground, but they, when we give them a signal, they all hit their burners, so you have this beautiful glow coming through the envelopes and all. And they're upright, and they'll be up for about 30 minutes and all. And then we have what we call Hare and Hound, or competition races, Saturday and Sunday morning as soon as daybreak, and then Saturday afternoon, usually between 5 and 5:30. Of course, this is weather permitting, so hopefully you will give us good weather for the weekend and all, because the winds cannot be over 10 miles an hour. And a lot of times, you know, it looks fine on the ground, but you get 30 and 40 feet up in the air, and you may have wind shears or whatever. And in that case, we do not let them go up for safety reasons.
Right. You gotta be safe with all of that. So I know it's supposed to be warm this weekend. So hopefully the wind will cooperate. And if folks want to join in either the car show, the Balloon Festival, or anything else that's happening up there, what do they need to know? Where should they go?
Okay,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, everything on for the Columbus Day Festival on Saturday is held on the downtown square. It starts at 9 in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon. Now, for the hot air balloons, we did have to change fields this year because we lost our parking. And so our field will be out off of Southwest 20th Street and North Riverside Drive. The public will come in on North Riverside Drive. There is a parking fee of $10, but that is for all, you get a parking pass, and that's for all 4 balloon events. And also, which is very, very inexpensive, and you can have as many people as you want in your vehicle. And all the public can get out on the balloon field, so they can get up close and visit with our pilots, with our crew people. All our crew people are locals, but they've been doing it for so many years because they love, once you do it, you're into ballooning.
Right.
And all.
No, I think I went to one just a few years ago out there, and there's absolutely incredible sight. And of course, for those who love the cars, you get a great combination if you love both. I mean, a lot of exciting stuff happening.
We're actually going to have some rat rods, we're hoping, this year. So that's an added class because we've always had unusual cars to come in and we don't have a category to put them in. So now we do.
Okay.
And the awards are given at 2 o'clock on on the cars.
All right, excellent. Ladies, thank you so much for coming in this morning. And of course, if you missed any of that, don't worry. You got their website right down there, and we'll have all of this information on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com a little later this morning. We'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:19 now on this Monday morning, starting with the Skywatch Storm Tracker, where again, there's really not much in our immediate area. The cold front off to our west has generated some showers and storms. They are beginning to kind of die out there, which is the expectation. Although, if you look, could get a stray shower or two to maybe clip extreme northwestern Greenwood or Coffee counties in southeast Kansas. The likelihood of that's very low, but if we saw anything, that's about the limit of what we'd see this morning. It won't be until later today as the front gets closer that we'll start to see slightly better rain chances, and they're not very good rain chances at that, but at least it's something. So between here and there, we're looking at partly cloudy skies across the area, and then around 5 to 10, now remember, Mother Nature doesn't punch a clock, but approximately from 5 to 10 is going to be our window for some isolated showers and thunderstorms as this front approaches. You can see there's really not much to it, but at least there's something out there for some of us. By 8, here's that front. So Yates Center, Eureka, Anderson, Garnett, could all be a little bit cooler, a little faster, because you'll get behind that front a little earlier than the rest of the area, because you can see it's somewhat slow moving, but it does eventually push through. And we could have a sprinkle or two past 10, but we should be dry. It's going to be tomorrow morning again. Once we all get behind that front, and we'll have another opportunity for some isolated to widely scattered showers and storms, roughly from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. tomorrow. But again, the better chances on this, and you'll see this here in a moment, is going to be across southeastern Kansas. This is at 9 a.m. You can see where we've got these rain showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder, and then after that it dies out and we go partly cloudy for the rest of our Tuesday. As for now, we've got some partly cloudy skies. We're still above normal, mid-60s to start, near 80 by 11 o'clock this morning. Into the afternoon, we'll go low mid-80s, but tomorrow, look at this, we're down to 60 tonight, mid-70s through Thursday. We do start warming up again into the weekend with a few more rain chances Thursday night into Friday. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this. Welcome back. Here to talk to us this morning is Steve Head, talking about the movie The Redemption of Mary Louisa McBroom, and he's the producer of the film. So Steve, thank you so much for joining us this morning. You may have seen some of these the promos running for this, but we're going to get a more direct preview of what's happening. So Stephen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the movie. What is this about for maybe anybody who hasn't seen these little ads?
I'm president of Great Wonders Productions. It's a local cinematic arts organization. It's a nonprofit, and we're trying to bring filmmaking to the four-state area. So last year we produced a film called The Butterfly People. This year we've started in January, and this documentary goes back 125 plus years and covers my family's story of generational abuse, childhood trauma, alcoholism, mental illness. It covers a lot of ground, but it's a redemptive story. So, you know, I think the purpose is to leave viewers inspired, motivated, and those who struggle with some of these issues leaving with some hope.
All right. And so in terms of this, you know, you were talking about how this is kind of your story in a way. So what inspired you to put that out there? A lot of people, they hold that stuff in, they don't let it out, but you're sharing this with an audience.
I'm an artist, and I hadn't been an artist until in my 50s, but I started doing art, and I ended up doing an art exhibit called Family Secrets. And one of the key pieces in that art exhibit is a piece called Lost and Found, The Redemption of Mary Louisa McBroom. And it's about my grandmother, who was in an insane asylum in Norman, Oklahoma from 1934 to 1943. She committed suicide there in 1943. I never knew her because she died 9 years before I was even born. But I found like 30 years ago, I was able, doing my genealogy, to get copies of all her medical records from Norman, Oklahoma, from the insane asylum she was in. I had those in my desk drawer for over 25 years. And I thought sometimes I should clean up my drawer and throw this away, but I thought, no, there's a reason for that. So anyway, we ended up doing this film, documenting her story, intertwining that with my story and my parents' story, and it's all based on true stuff. I had to be very transparent. There's a lot of things, you know, a lot of people will be surprised to find out about Steve Head. But I think they'll be happy when they see the ending. It's a powerful ending, and I'm so proud of how this turned out.
All right. And so in terms of this movie, I mean, given that it is based on true events, do you think that might help inspire folks a little more? I mean, you can see movies that are like this, but it's a story. It's something made up to entertain or to show, but this is based on true events. Do you think that might help folks take something away?
I hope it does. It's we were always, as an organization, about making movies that make a difference, not so much make a buck. So we want to make films that are powerful and inspire people and motivate people and help people. I think, some of my background, with alcoholism and being in 12-step groups and struggling with some of the repercussions of what alcoholism does. Now, I've been sober for over 30 years, but the prior experiences are portrayed in this film. And my wife and I still work with 12-step groups and people and recovering people. And I think it's a film for people that are still struggling, that are trying to recover from substance abuse or other issues. And I think if they see this film, they'll leave knowing that maybe there is a possibility that their own story could be redeemed.
Yeah, absolutely. And so for those who would like to see this film, what do they need to know? Where should they go?
Oh, it's so exciting. Tonight, 7 o'clock at the Webb City Route 66 Theater. It's the very, very, very first time it'll be on the big screen. So it's kind of like a sneak preview premiere. We're going to do it again tomorrow night and Wednesday night. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 7 p.m. and Sunday, the 12th at 6 p.m.
Okay.
And so there's 4 chances to see it. I hope people come out and see this film. I'm anxious to hear what people say.
I'm very interested in seeing this film. I'm sure a lot of folks are as well. And of course, if you missed any of that information, don't worry. You got it right there on that website at the bottom of your screen. We'll have it on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, a little later this morning. Steve, thanks so much for joining us this morning. And we'll be back with more right after this.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It is now 7:31. I'm Chris Warner. Well, Fire Prevention Week started yesterday, and this year organizations are focusing on educating people about the dangers of lithium-ion batteries and how to use them safely to prevent house fires. Fox News correspondent C.B. Cotton has more from New York.
Every year, the U.S. observes Fire Prevention Week in October. Organizations spend those days providing life-saving education to people of all ages. According to the National Fire Protection Association, during 2019 to 2023, firefighters responded to an average of more than 328,000 home structure fires per year, and say those fires claimed thousands of lives. But critical care surgeon Nicole Burnell says it doesn't have to be that way.
It is our true belief that most fires and injuries from fires can be prevented.
This time around, the fire prevention campaign is focusing on the dangers of lithium-ion batteries.
These have actually become the mainstay of rechargeable elements throughout our home. They can overheat and catch fire and sometimes explode.
The rechargeable batteries are found in phones, laptops, e-bikes, and even electric vehicles. Burnell says she's had patients come in with deep burns after a device battery exploded.
A lot of that had to do with if they were charged with the wrong device or in a pocket that had metal.
In New York City alone, the NFPA says more than 800 fires have been sparked by lithium-ion batteries since 2022. Experts are urging people to practice safety when it comes to charging everyday items.
Maintain that charging cord that you get when you purchase the device, because that is specific to the device itself.
Experts say one way to stay safe is to charge any lithium-ion battery device on a hard surface, never on your bed, couch, or under a pillow. In New York, C.B. Cotton, Fox News.
Well, yesterday, the Pittsburgh Fire Department opened its doors for a community open house at Fire Station 1. Families enjoyed fun activities, a live fire demonstration, and got to meet the firefighters who serve their community. Officials say that fire safety was the focus of the day. And the Baxter Springs Civil War encampment happened over the weekend, remembering the event on the 162nd anniversary of Quantrill's raid on Fort Blair on the historic Fort Blair site. The encampment gives people an idea of what Civil War camp life entailed, including camp life and drill and a battle engagement. And in conjunction with Neosho's Fall Festival, the Neosho Historical Society had a history alley to simulate life in Newton County in the 1800s. Events included Dutch oven cooking, blacksmithing and armorers, flint knapping, a band, and more. It also included a quilting showcase in a one-room schoolhouse and museum. And we've got an opportunity to cool down just a wee bit. We've got a cold front coming in. Not here yet. Won't be here until later today, so we've got another warm day ahead of us. Looks great, though. Our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Take a look at the colors on those clouds from the sunrise there at 7th and Rangeline in Joplin, and the MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline. You can see folks getting their Monday morning commute underway, probably getting a lot of coffee out there. All right, so you can see on this counter, we're down to 8 lightning strikes in terms of what Skywatch Storm Tracker can see. We'll move it out here. It only goes up to 17. Again, at the peak of these storms very early this morning, out here to our west, there was about 113 lightning strikes. So they are in a decaying state. We could get one of these isolated showers to maybe clip extreme northwestern Greenwood or Coffee counties here this morning, but I think for the most part, we're pretty well dry. These storms really aren't moving much. They've just been kind of recycling, but they're associated with the cold front that's going to push in later this evening and bring us cooler weather, at least briefly, and at least some isolated shower and storm chances. By noon, partly cloudy skies out there, and between about 5 and 10, I know Future Track's got a few maybe as early as 4, but I think the best window is from 5 to 10 for some isolated showers and thunderstorms. Most of us will be dry. By 8, that cold front draped across parts of southeast Kansas, so Yates Center, Eureka, Anderson, Garnett, probably a little cooler than the rest of us a little earlier as that front slides on through. Speaking of cooler, not so much in our temperatures, low, mid, and upper 60s as we get this day started. Sedan, though, the cool spot at 58. We're going to go about 70 by 9, 81 by noon. Our highs today above normal, low to mid 80s. But tonight, after that front pushes through, temperatures drop a bit and they will stay cool for a little bit before they warm back up again. We'll have a full look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes. And Porch Fest returned over the weekend. 5 city blocks in North Heights, Joplin became an outdoor concert, and the stages were people's homes and the audience sat in the street. Planning Porch Fest starts in July with getting city permits and contacting vendors.
And part of just being a good neighbor is helping by having our bands on the porches, and I love getting to know the artists and being able to have neighbors come to my house to see the band and meeting new people and being able to just build bigger relationships with the community here.
This particular Porch Fest this year managed to reconnect a Colorado man to his Joplin roots. KOM's Mitch Adams has more.
Music is something that has the ability to connect people, no matter your background. Mark Harris left Joplin over 30 years ago and originally had no plans to return.
And I wrote a letter and said, you know, this is who I am. I said, I know a bunch of history about the neighborhood and about the house. And I said, if you're interested, you know, here's my telephone number. So it turned out to be William, who's actually in charge of Porch Fest.
An organizer of Porch Fest had music planned for his own front porch, which belonged to Harris's grandparents for over 50 years.
He's actually the one that kind of invited me and said, well, you know, I've got a girl that's playing on my porch. I said, well, you know, if I could just do a couple songs, I'd be tickled. I'd feel like I'd come full circle.
William was amazed at the fact that someone reached out with knowledge and history behind the home he owns.
He hadn't been here in 30 years, so I invited him out here to play on his grandparents' porch, and it all just turned out perfectly. And I've gotten to learn about the history of the house, too. Always been really curious for as long as I've owned it. So it's really just been a miracle, honestly.
Thinking about the memories that flood back in while being in Joplin, Harris feels great to finally be able to relive them.
I think the first thought is how Joplin, to me, hasn't changed at all. I've been gone 30 years, and I remembered the street names. You know, I remember the park. We always come through Landreth Park. And it just, you know, all those memories come flooding back. When you pull into Joplin, you pull through the park, you know, you're almost close to 712 North Pearl. So.
Reporting in Joplin, Missouri, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
Harris's grandparents lived in the home from the 1940s until the 1990s. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Feeling overlooked for promotions? Well, a new study reveals how to overcome beauty bias and advance your career. Well, new research is shedding light on just how much your looks may influence your ability to become a leader at work. Fox News correspondent Chanley Painter takes a closer look.
Turns out your looks may impact your potential to get promotions. That's according to research from business experts at Texas A&M University.
It is more pervasive than what we had thought before.
According to management professor Stephen Courtwright, beauty bias can play a large role in whether people become leaders at work.
Why? Because we look to attractiveness as a signal of one's warmth and one's competence. In other words, are you good with people and are you good at your job?
Analysts say men and women can be equally affected as they climb the corporate ladder.
People really lend a lot of credence to good looks when they're selecting their leaders, even though what we find and what's been found in past studies, it has no relation to leader effectiveness whatsoever. And so we actually look at looks more than things that actually count, like intelligence and certain personality traits, and much more than even things that don't count, like gender, that we talk about more.
But when it comes to looks, Professor Courtwright says there's not a lot you can control besides looking as professional as you can for the job you have. Courtwright recommends
if you feel like that you're lower on attractiveness, then overcompensate, if you will, by displaying both warmth and competence, and that can help propel you.
While researchers say beauty bias exists across many different industries, they say superficial traits become less of a focus as time goes on. I'm Shanley Painter, Fox News.
Well, that might explain a lot for me. I'm just kidding. I've had management positions, and I think that's what caused all of this, because oh boy, the stress levels that managers in some situations endure is just absolutely crazy. So an interesting, though, information from that study for sure. It's the 21st century and still can't get past some of those biases. We're going to have another look at your forecast right after this. But first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 7:45 on this Monday morning. We're starting with a quick look at Skywatch Storm Tracker. Again, these shower storms, as you can see, they are dying out slowly but surely. They're ahead of that cold front that's eventually going to come in and make some changes for us, but it won't be until later this evening before it does so. Now, we've got a couple of little showers or little stragglers here on the far eastern edge of this thing that could clip like extreme northwestern Greenwood and Coffee counties. That's this morning. That would be about it. It won't be again until later today that we'll have isolated shower and storm chances. So between here and there, we are looking at partly cloudy skies, and then roughly from 5 to 10 this evening, we'll have a window for some isolated showers and thunderstorms across the area ahead of the front. So here's that front right here by 8, draped across parts of southeastern Kansas. So again, Yates Center, Eureka, Anderson, Garnett, you're going to be back behind the cold front a little earlier than everyone else, so you may get a little cooler this evening into the overnight hours than everyone else does as well. And then once we reach 10, there could be a sprinkle or two, but I think we're done with any kind of somewhat meaningful rain chances. Here's that front now from Coffeyville, Parsons, just to the northwest of Pittsburgh, back northwest of Nevada as well. By about 11 o'clock, it goes ahead and pushes on through overnight, and once we get on the backside, between approximately 5 and 11 tomorrow morning, we'll have another opportunity for some isolated to widely scattered showers and storms. So by 9, you can see the better chances, if we see much at all, is going to be into southeastern Kansas, because as this tries to push east, it just really fizzles out. That's not to say east you couldn't get a shower or maybe a rumble of thunder, but the better chances are off in southeast Kansas. It'll die out. Then we'll start to go partly cloudy as we head through the rest of our Tuesday and into our Wednesday, and temperatures are going to be considerably better over the next couple of days. We just got to get through today. Now, unfortunately, this is a very short-lived break from the really warm weather, but at least it's a break. It's a taste of fall heading into the next couple of days. Those clouds, just with the sunlight on, they look really pretty this morning. From 7th and Range Line, again, partly cloudy through the morning, mid-60s to start, about 80 by 11 o'clock this morning. Into the afternoon we go, low mid-80s out there. Southeast winds at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. And again, we'll be dry up to that point. Then between 5 and 10 approximately, because as I said before, Mother Nature doesn't punch a clock. Mother Nature doesn't have, understanding of time. That's something we made. We made time so that we know what to do with ourselves during the day and overnight. So we'll have those isolated storms, partly to mostly cloudy overnight, but again, we dry out briefly. Look at these lows though, about 60. So remember, where that front pushes through, some of you may go mid upper 50s, others may be the low 60s still, but you get that north breeze at 5 to 10. We'll hold on to north winds tomorrow. Again, a couple isolated storms in the morning, otherwise low to mid 70s all the way through Thursday. We have a few evening shower and storm chances heading into from Thursday night into Friday. And then as we head into the weekend, we do look to warm back up. Thankfully, Not as warm as was originally thought on some of the long-range data, where we're going to be pushing near 90 again, but still above normal with more rain chances next week. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this. Well, touchdowns and field goals are the key to winning a football game, but off the field, several NFL stadiums are trying to score points in sustainability, from solar panels to composting and beyond. Fox News' Ted Lindner takes a closer look at some of the programs.
Football season in full swing. Energetic fans are filling up stadiums across the country to root for their favorite teams. But it takes a lot of energy to run the jumbotrons, lights, and everything else inside these massive venues.
I would like to say that we're setting the pace for sure.
But several National Football League stadiums are scoring points off the field when it comes to sustainability.
Our waste diversion is 99+% in the stadium.
Lincoln Financial Field, home of the Philadelphia Eagles, is harnessing the power of the sun.
We have one of the largest solar arrays in the world of any stadium. We have almost 11,000 panels. We produce 40% of our own energy.
Workers here also manually sort recyclables. An on-site compactor then crushes the metal so it can be sold.
We actually bale it in the stadium and then we send it out.
The stadium recycled about 18 tons of aluminum last year, and officials reinvested funds into their sustainability program. Many fans are on board with the cause.
Like, hey, let's minimize the damage that we're causing to the environment. You always want to root for a team that's doing good by the environment and the community. So
some advocates believe younger fans are also helping to spark change.
These consumers are the ones that tend to have environmental concerns, social impacts most salient to them.
But Lincoln Financial Field isn't alone. Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta and Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California have similar initiatives. In February, Levi's Stadium will host the Super Bowl. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Of course, sustainability is a big thing, globally, really, as we try and make things a little better, make things last a little longer, do a little better. I mean, don't get me wrong, with a lot of technology, there's still planned obsolescence. I know that anybody, any tech person's going to deny that, but I'm telling you, there's planned obsolescence with technology. There's an E-Machines computer. You'll have to look it up. Released, I think it was 1998 or 1999, and on the front of it, the sticker said, "Never obsolete," because it came with certain upgrades and things that you could do to keep it current. But I'm pretty confident even that eventually became obsolete. Like AOL's dial-up service, man, it was our first internet service. You had to get a whole second phone line. All right, that's a totally different subject. Let's talk about some weather very quickly before we head out the door. There's a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker again. We've got those shower storms ahead of that cold front that will eventually make its way into our neck of the woods later this evening. None of this activity really expected to do much for us, but again, could get one of these little straggler showers to barely clip us here this morning. But I think for the most part, we are dry until this evening. Partly cloudy skies from now until then, and about 5 o'clock or so, between 5 and 10 approximately, we'll have an opportunity for some isolated showers and storms ahead of that front. Then after 10, maybe a sprinkle or two, but we should be dry until about 5 tomorrow morning, where we get another round of isolated to widely scattered showers and storms, mostly into southeast Kansas through about 11 a.m. And then those die out, and the rest of our Tuesday looks great with much cooler temperatures. Another look at your forecast and your wake-up recap right after this. This is your wake-up recap for Monday, October the 6th. Your top stories to start your day. 3 tractor trailers crashed and burned on I-44 in a fiery head-on collision. The dramatic scene between Rolla and Fort Leonard Wood sparked massive fires, diesel fuel spills, and required multiple fire departments to battle the blaze. Construction continues on Joplin's game-changing Momentum Bike Park at Dora. The massive project includes a BMX track, mountain bike trails, skills features, and public art, all designed to create the largest municipal bike facility in Missouri. And that is a check of today's Wake Up Recap. Quick recap of your forecast. Again, still above normal ahead of that front today. Low mid-80s, partly cloudy skies, and between about 5 and 10 this evening, we'll have an opportunity at least for some isolated showers and storms. Most of us will be dry, but take a look. As we get past that front, We're 70 by 10, 60 for overnight lows. And again, some of you may get a little cooler than the rest of us, or a little cooler earlier, so you may drop back into the mid-50s out there. North breeze 5 to 10. We're dry overnight, and then from 5 to 11 tomorrow morning, a few more isolated showers and storms, better chances in southeast Kansas. We're into the mid-70s, and we'll hold on to the mid-70s through Thursday. A few isolated storms Thursday night into Friday. Temperatures warming up as we head into the weekend with more rain chances possible by next week. That's going to do it for the KOAM Morning News here on Fox 14. Thanks so much for joining us. We're back with more news and weather today at noon. Have a fantastic rest of your Monday.